Everything is downstream from lead generation. If you don't have any leads, you won't have any clients, and you won't have any profits or sales either. So this is arguably the most important piece of your marketing strategy. That being said, because it's so important, it's also kind of difficult, right? I mean, how do you get someone to put their hand up and say, yeah, I need your help. Please help me. But here's the good news. I've got 3 banging lead gen strategies you can implement into your business today to get clients by the end of the week. So grab your pen and paper, because we've got work to do, my friend. This is the Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultants podcast, a show to help independent HR consultants get a pipeline of perfect fit, high-paying clients without expensive adverts, time-consuming social media activities, or energy-sapping and monotonous networking meetings. I'm your host, Nick Paninsky, author of How to Land Your Dream Client, a book which explains everything you need to know to get every sale and client you ever want. And if that sounds interesting, then make sure to grab your copy from the Influential Consultant website today. That being said, let's get into today's show. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultants. This week, we'll be talking about lead gen strategies, as I know that's something a lot of you struggle with. And honestly, it's something you need to resolve ASAP, because without it, you'll never achieve that dream of being successfully self-employed. You'll be stuck in feast or famine till the day you retire or you go back to the 9 to 5. But before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to give you a quick update about where I am in the world and what I'm up to. I'm currently back at my mum and dad's in Oswald Twistle, but it shouldn't be for much longer. I've been flat hunting in Manchester city centre today and had an offer accepted, so hopefully I'll have some freedom again soon. In other news, I've got a huge launch coming next Monday on LinkedIn, or you'll hear about it on Saturday if you tune in for the bonus podcast. Honestly, you don't want to miss this if you're struggling with business right now. But enough about that and those promises. Let's get into today's topic. 3 simple lead gen strategies that you can implement into your business today and get clients by the end of the week. So the first lead gen strategy I want to talk to you about is networking. Networking is a fundamental skill for you and for all HR consultants looking to build and grow their leads, their client base, and get more profits and sales. Networking goes beyond exchanging business cards. It's about building genuine connections with your target audiences and people who might know your target audience. As these relationships, your networking relationships, they can unlock a wealth of opportunities. Your network is your net worth, right? In terms of a definition, let's get a definition up. Networking is about interacting with others in the hope of exchanging business, information, or opportunities. But more than that, when you have a great network, these are people who'll take your phone call and listen to what you have to say. They'll be excited by the opportunities you present them, and they'll contact others who could help if needs be too. And when you think of a network like that, well, who wouldn't want to have access to something like that? Speaking of which, let's look at those benefits of building a network and networking. Firstly, it's a collaboration catalyst. A strong network opens doors to collaboration and partnerships with people who can help you do wonderful things. You might connect with someone who complements your skill set, leading to exciting joint projects or ventures. Alternatively, you might just meet your target audience there and then at an event. Equally, referral riches. By building relationships with people, you increase your chances of getting referrals. People who trust you can recommend your services to their network, expanding your reach and attracting new clients without you even being in the room. So as you can see, networking isn't just about meeting people in your own target audience. Finally, a network is all about your knowledge network. Your network is a valuable source of knowledge. See? By connecting with others, you can stay updated on industry trends, learn from their experiences, and gain valuable insights that can help you advance your business and your income levels. Finally, by going along to a networking event, there's the great possibility of bumping into somebody who is in your target audience and needs your help. That's how I got my first client. That's how a lot of people get their first clients. And let's be realistic here. People buy from people. So when you meet somebody and you're able to share your knowledge and help them understand their problems, why wouldn't they say to you, do you know what? I need your help. Let's get to work. It's not all sunshine and roses though. There are downsides to networking. Firstly, there's the time squeeze. Building relationships takes time and dedication. There's attending events, there's nurturing connections, and there's following up. And all that requires consistent effort. So it's important to be strategic with your time and prioritize networking activities that align with your goals. And to be blunt, you should invest more time with the people who can help you build a successful life. Another downside is the comparison trap. Surrounding yourself with successful individuals can be incredibly motivating. However, it can also lead to the comparison trap. Constantly comparing yourself to others' achievements can be discouraging and hinder your own progress. Comparison is the thief of joy after all, right? And we can see enough of that with social media and the impact it's having on young people's mental health. Finally, there's shallow connections. Networking events can sometimes feel overwhelming, leading to a large number of brief, superficial interactions. Collecting a stack of business cards doesn't necessarily translate to building meaningful relationships, right? And after a while of going to events with nothing to show for it, you can get very discouraged. It's only natural, right? We like to have a payoff when we put an effort into something. Overall, investing time and effort in building your network can be highly rewarding. From potential partnerships to staying ahead of the curve and just having someone to share your wins and your stories with. The benefits of a strong network are undeniable. However, be mindful of the time commitment required and prioritize quality connections over quantity. Now, if you're interested in building your network, but you're feeling a little unsure where to start, then don't worry. We've all been there. And to help you along the way, here are some tips and tricks to help you navigate the world of networking and make meaningful connections. And by the way, if networking is something you're interested in diving deeper into, then make sure to check out the dedicated podcast to it, which is in an earlier episode of this podcast. So the first tip is to start local. Look for networking events happening in your community or your industry, local chambers of commerce, professional organizations like the CIPD, or even meetup groups via the Meetup app. These can all be great starting points. Next, you want to consider leveraging online platforms. LinkedIn offers a fantastic platform for connecting with professionals in your field. Join relevant groups, participate in discussions, and make connections with people you think could be great partners or potential clients. Next, be a connector, not just a collector. Networking isn't just about collecting business cards. Think about how you can connect people in your network too, and those who might benefit from knowing each other. Being a connector fosters goodwill and strengthens your relationships. Equally, it's just the right thing to do, isn't it? Treat others as you'd like to be treated. You also want to focus on quality conversations. Don't just pitch your services at every opportunity. Focus on having genuine conversations, asking thoughtful questions, and learning about the other person's interests and goals. Effectively, try and make a genuine connection with who you're talking to. Speaking of pitching your services, we've discussed this on the dedicated podcast, but make sure you have an engaging and interesting elevator pitch. Get people to physically put their hands up and show they need your help, and then explain what you do, how you do it, and what the outcomes are. People will remember great pitches, they forget bad pitches, and they don't listen to them. When you've met people, follow up with them after the initial meeting. So don't let connections fade away after a brief meeting. Send a follow-up email thanking them for the time and mentioning something specific you discussed to remind them of the connection you made. You may even want to consider sending something thoughtful like a copy of your book or an interesting article that you wrote or you found, or maybe even a voucher for a coffee at a local cafe. And finally, when you're first meeting people, be yourself and be approachable. Smile, make eye contact, and project confidence. People are more likely to connect with someone who seems genuine, friendly, and approachable. Overall, remember, networking is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient, consistent, and focus on building genuine relationships. By following these tips and putting yourself out there, you'll be well on your way to building a powerful network that can support your professional journey and generate leads and clients for you to build a powerful and successful HR consultancy. And as I say, if you go to an event today or this week with a powerful pitch, you may well just meet your perfect target audience who says, "Hey, you're perfect. I need your help. Please help me." The next lead gen strategy for you to consider is cold emailing. Now, I'm sure you know what a cold email is because you've no doubt received your fair share of them. But here's the thing. If you do them well, they're actually a potential goldmine. In fact, they can work really well for generating conversations with people. It's just that most people do cold emailing badly, and then they get mocked for it mercilessly on social media. That being said, for those who've never heard of a cold email, here's a quick definition. Cold emailing is when you send unsolicited emails to people you haven't previously contacted or met with the goal of initiating a conversation. As I say, you've no doubt received your fair share of them in your life. But if not, well, you've got a definition now. Anyway, first things first, let's look at the advantages of cold email. The first advantage, and probably the most attractive, is the fact that it's so cost effective. Compared to traditional marketing methods like print adverts or television commercials, cold email offers a significant bang for your bucks. In fact, it can be free depending on what kind of software you decide to use. So all in all, cold email is an extremely economic way of reaching a large group of people. The next advantage of cold emailing is that you get measurable results. Most cold emailing can offer detailed analytics. You can track key metrics like open rates, click-through rates, and whether or not someone replies to you. And then you can stop doing what doesn't work and start doing more of what does work. You effectively have data-driven information to drive improvements. The final advantage is an automation potential. Many email marketing platforms offer automation features. This allows you to schedule campaigns in advance, perhaps personalize greetings, and even trigger automated email sequences based on the recipient's behavior. And that saves you a hell of a lot of time and keeps your marketing efforts running smoothly. Effectively, once you click start, you can sit back and wait for people to reply and say, I'm interested, let's talk. That being said, there are disadvantages to cold emailing, as we all know. Firstly, standing out in inboxes. With so many cold emails competing for attention, crafting compelling subject lines and content is essential to encourage people to reply to your messages. Otherwise, they'll just click delete and move on with their day. Next, there's a negative perception to cold emailing. Some people view cold emails as intrusive or annoying, which can harm your reputation if the people post about it on social media. But all I'd say to that one is you've just found out that you don't want to do business with that person. And if anyone has any complaints about you generating leads through cold email, well, forget them. People, they're not paying your mortgage, right? The final disadvantage for cold emailing is the spam filter abyss. Landing in the spam folder is like sending your message into a black hole. Strict email filters can be unforgiving, and even a minor formatting error or a history of sending irrelevant emails can negatively impact your deliverability. This means a significant portion of your emails might not even be seen. Overall, cold emailing can be a powerful tool for businesses of all sizes. It's a cost-effective, quick way to reach a large audience. It's super cheap and provides valuable data to measure success. However, it's not without its challenges. Standing out in crowded inboxes, generating engagement, and avoiding spam filters are all potential pitfalls to consider. Now, if you want to get involved in cold emailing, then there are some steps to get you started. Firstly, choose a cold email marketing service provider. There are many reputable options available, each with varying features and pricing plans, but do your research to find a platform that meets your needs and your budgets. Personally, I've used Walaxy in my time as it also offers LinkedIn compatibility. That means you can message people on LinkedIn and then follow it up with an email or contact them via email and then contact them via LinkedIn, etc., etc. Speaking of messaging people on LinkedIn, the next thing that you want to consider after you've got an email marketing service provider is to get a list of people to contact. And this can be a difficult process, but having a list of people to reach out to is an important step, especially as you want to make sure they're in your target audience before contacting. Otherwise, you're definitely wasting your time. You might want to consider trying a website like People Per Hour or Fiverr and pay someone a tenner to get 100 cold leads for you to reach out to. But make sure to audit the list before handing over your money because they tend to just send anything and everything. Alternatively, something like Walaxy, that can do the work for you. Just download a search result and then upload it into Walaxy. Walaxy will do the rest. Next, it's time to craft compelling content. Make sure to send something quick, interesting, and intriguing so people understand what you offer and why they should get in touch. If you're curious what to put in the message, then have a quick Google, as you'll find an abundance of messages that people swear by. And make sure to follow up. Don't email once and then move on to the next group of people. Make sure to follow up and remind people of the initial outreach. As people say, the magic happens in the follow-up. The final step is to track your results. Monitor key metrics like open rates, click-through rates, and the reply rates. Analyze this data to identify what's working and what needs improvement, and then double down on whatever works and cancel what doesn't. By following these steps and understanding the advantages and disadvantages of cold email marketing, you can develop a simple strategy that generates leads and drives business growth in a very cheap and quick way. In fact, if you contact the right person at the right time with the right message, then you could end up with leads and clients this week. The final method you can consider to use to get leads this week is direct mail or lumpy mail. Direct mail is where you send a letter or a postcard directly to a target audience's mailbox. And lumpy mail is the exact same thing, except that you include something interesting in the envelope to spark excitement and intrigue to try and improve response rates. You could even potentially join these methods up with cold emailing as part of that strategy. In case you're curious, I've decided to twin these methods of lumpy mail and direct mail because they're more or less one and the same thing. There's a few changes here and there to consider, but generally speaking, they're the same thing. In terms of the advantages, well, direct mail, lumpy mail, physical mail is something that people can hold, making it more memorable than digital ads. Equally, lumpy mail takes the tangibility of a physical letter and puts it on steroids. You get the letter and a little present, a little gift. Another advantage is the targeting. You can target specific demographics or geographic areas or target audiences, and then ensures your message reaches the right people with the right message. Another key advantage is the personalization. Direct mail can be personalized with the recipient's name, making it feel more relevant and engaging. And again, this could be done to a higher level with lumpy mail, because if you know your target has an affinity for golf, then you can include something golf related to really grab their attention. Another advantage is the high open rate. The unusual shape or size of lumpy mail, that piques curiosity, and that leads to higher open rates. Equally, if you use a handwritten noticeable envelope, perhaps coloured red, then your direct mail will get opened too. Finally, overall, lumpy mail stands out from regular mail and digital clutter, making your message more noticeable and impactful. Equally, direct mail is a hell of a lot less popular than it once was, and in an era where so much of our contact is digital and online, a letter in the post has an opportunity to really grab eyeballs. There are obviously disadvantages to direct mail or lumpy mail. Obviously, there's the cost, right? Printing and postage, it's not free. It can be expensive, especially for larger campaigns or larger packages. This is true for lumpy mail. For example, if you're sending a package through the post. I've heard of people sending fake arms from toy shops, right? And saying, I would give my left arm for a meeting with you. That can be very expensive. And the stamps, the packaging, the having to travel to the post office, it's all a drain on resources. It's also a potential waste. You know, your direct mail, your lumpy mail, it could be seen as junk, leading to waste. And if you misunderstand the market and include messaging which is inappropriate, you could find yourself going viral for all the wrong reasons. There's also environmental concerns. There's a potential negative impact on the environment due to the paper use and the waste. And if you're sending out little presents which get thrown away, then you're really impacting the environment for no real reason. Finally, lumpy mail, direct mail, it can be seen as tacky. If you're sending out special offers or little presents which don't hit the mark, then your message could be lost and generate an impact which leads people to think that your business and your offerings are tacky or bad. However, if you want to embark on a campaign of direct mail or lumpy mail, I've got you covered. Here are the steps to take. Firstly, define your goals and your audience. Identify what you want to achieve. More leads, appointments, brand awareness, whatever it is. Obviously, as part of this podcast episode, we're talking about lead generation, but you may want to consider other goals too. Then you want to clearly define your target audience. Consider small business owners in a specific industry or geographic location. If you say small business owners in general, well, the issues they face and the problems you solve could be very different. But if you're about to focus on a geographical area, then that can negate that issue. Equally, if you focus on an industry, then the messages you share will specifically talk to them, which will encourage positive responses to your outreach. I've talked about target audience before. I'll talk about it again. I'm not going to drone on about it this time, though. Target audience is really key. The next step of a campaign is to craft your message. When writing the letters to go inside your direct mail or your lumpy mail, focus on a clear and compelling message that addresses the pain points and needs of your target audience. As I say, the more specific your audience, the more specific the messages you can share. So the recipient says, oh, these are the problems I face. And that increases the chances of a positive reply and a successful campaign. And that means more leads for you. You also want to personalize the message to make it relevant and engaging. Use their name, reference their business if possible. And yeah, if possible, take it to the next level. Handwrite the envelopes, handwrite the letters, and consider being super personalized for the recipient and their personality, likes, dislikes, like we talked about before. If they like golf, make sure to cover that. Another step to consider is that design matters. So consider investing in good design for your mail pieces. They should be visually appealing and easy to read. For lumpy mail, choose items that are useful and relevant to your audience. Consider avoiding gimmicks that don't provide real value, unless, of course, that's your brand, in which case, indulge, lean into it. The final step is to include a strong call to action. Whether it's visiting your website, scheduling a consultation, or calling you, make it easy and clear to follow what the next step is. Personally, if the letter or package is the first time this person or business is hearing from you, I would say that you may want to consider an easy first step for them, like visiting a website. Because unless your offer is extremely compelling, people can be reluctant to arrange a meeting with a stranger. So be careful if you're considering this approach. Before you go too far into direct mail or lumpy mail, start with some testing and some tracking. Start with a small test campaign to measure response rates and return on investment. Use unique tracking codes, dedicated phone numbers, or URLs to track the effectiveness on your campaign. And make sure to follow up. Plan your follow-up strategy in advance. This could be a phone call or an email. However it is that you want to follow up, make sure to follow up. The magic is in the follow-up. Regular follow-up can help convert initial interest into actual clients. The final step is to analyze the results of your campaign. What works, what didn't? Then adjust your approach based on that data, and then you can improve future campaigns. Overall, direct mail and lumpy mail can be very effective tools for HR consultants just like you to generate leads and attract new clients. By understanding their advantages and disadvantages and following a strategic approach, you can create successful campaigns that stand out and deliver results. Remember, the key is to be clear, compelling, and consistent in your marketing messages. So there you have it, folks. 3 or 4, depending on your perspective, solid lead gen strategies that you can start today and have leads by the end of the week. Whether you want to embark on cold email, lumpy or direct mail, or in-person networking events, remember that consistency and creating the right first impression is key. I like to think of marketing as pinging on someone's radar. The level of ping you make will directly correlate to the opportunity you create for yourself. And it's the same for your lead gen. Make sure to create a big ping on your audience's radar, and then you'll have more leads than you can handle. So hopefully this episode has been helpful. If so, please consider leaving a positive review on podchaser.com. In the meantime, remember, get marketing, because without marketing, there's no sales, and without sales, there's no business. So get marketing. Hey there, and thanks for listening to the Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultant podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, then please consider taking a moment to help us grow by sharing the episode with a friend or colleague, or by leaving a positive review on podchaser.com. And make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming episodes. I've been your host, Nick Paninsky, and if you have any questions or want to know more about today's topic, then reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd be delighted to hear from you. See you next time.